Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, Chris.
Hey.
We don't create the agenda issue automatically, right? I was trying to find it, but maybe
I
not.
can I can put it in the chat. Sorry, I don't know why I'm logged in as OpenJS Foundation. So I'm trying to solve it right now. But here's the agenda for everyone.
Yeah, I think Ben is not joining today, and Adam also is not joining today. So probably I will try to host it. I'm not sure also if I can record it. But yeah, if not, we can figure it out for future sessions if needed.
I can record it. Just let me know.
Oh,
Oh wait, it looks like it is actually recording already.
Yeah, it's recording.
oh, so true. Okay, fantastic.
The problem becomes when we need to stop the recording, or
Yeah, yeah,
if
exactly.
if we need to.
Yeah, if we need to, I can figure it out. I'll stop it.
Fantastic. Yeah, that being said, do we want to discuss something in private at the end?
Um, yes.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
not
so we
anything.
can.
It's not anything serious, but it's not like super private, but just probably like something you don't want need to be on the recording. So,
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. It's okay if we save like 10 minutes for that?
I mean, even if it's like a couple of minutes, that's fine.
Okay,
5 minutes.
awesome. Okay, fantastic. So let's see. I think in terms of agenda items, I can see these ones with the flag of security agenda. Yeah, I guess we can start by order. So first of all, does anyone has any announcements that anyone want to make?
Just to mention that we have created the Secret Hub channel and we are going to communicate some OpenJS projects this week. And further details we will see in the email or in the chat.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you, Rafa. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. I guess we'll get to it too, but this isn't why I raised my hand. But since you mentioned the channel, I don't know if that means we can close the GitHub issue or if there's still some things we want to track in there. I don't know. What I was going to say though was I think last week or the week, no, it might have been the week before. I think we talked a little bit in here about that CVE that was submitted. Well, let me start from the beginning. This was where there was like a security researcher that found a potential vulnerability in a project, but it was just like in a commit. It wasn't in release software.
Hmm.
Um, and the maintainer was like, "Hey, thanks for letting me know. We'll look into it." And then like
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like they found that like this person had went and got a CVE assigned for the issue, and like I don't remember. I think it actually was publicly disclosed, which like technically because the code is out there, that's supposed to make it okay to
Yeah.
publish a CVE about it. But you know, there are a couple aspects of this. One was that this isn't a great like it was mainly viewed as a failure of like the researcher to coordinate with the maintainer and stuff like that. So that was definitely uh, a shared view of that in particular, but it also raised the question of should CVEs be assigned for code that's not released. or not published, or, and the different nuances associated with that. And I said I would bring this to the vulnerability disclosures working group at the OpenSSF, which I did. We had a good conversation, and folks were open to either creating. There was some discussion about whether this should be like guidance versus like rules in the CNA rules, but we'll create an issue for tracking that, and in that group, there's a recording for folks that might be interested in how that discussion went. That meeting is regularly attended by members of the CVE board, some of whom were there. So yeah, we'll keep going on that. And if we ever, when and if we have some draft text about what that looks like, I can come and bring it to you guys and see what you think.
Yeah, that's a super interesting one, Chris. Thank you for being the bridge and connect both groups and bring all the info. So that's great. Yeah, I was thinking on this issue for a while, and I think it's a little bit edge case, because technically you can just install a tag from the repository directly. So even if you don't publish, for example, on npm, that might qualify as accessible public code or releases code somehow, while nobody expect to do that, right? Unless you are doing something extreme. But yeah, sorry, go ahead, Chris. You're muted.
I didn't intend to interrupt you. I was just going to respond to that. But yeah, I mean, people brought that stuff up. We also talked about here, I think Jordan might have brought it up about, some things are meant to be consumed directly from GitHub. So think of things like actions, right? But even with actions, actions, you usually are going to use either a version or you're going to use commit hash that is also associated with a published version, right? You're not going to just go, I want this random commit. Maybe if you're, trying to test something, maybe if you really, for some reason, need some commit that's not published yet, maybe you would, in some edge cases there. People also brought up in that group, like things like, distributions and how that's different than bundling, and some more edge casey things. And my response was sort of like, we should talk about those things. We should talk about edge cases, but I'm really interested in like the bigger, more common thing, which is just the general issue around publishing CVEs for unreleased, unpublished versions or non-versions, as it were, and really just have some guidance around that, even if it's not like, the rules use like the terms like you must, you should, etc. Even if it's something like should or should not, instead of a must not, just having some guidance we can point to there, I think would be helpful for folks. And I think everybody agreed that there should be some guidance around this, that it would be useful. It's just, what does that look like? And we'll figure that out.
Yep. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, any additional announcements or other topics before we officially kick off the agenda? Okay, I will take that as no. So then I think in them, let me see in the order. So yeah, basically I go from the freshest one to the oldest one. So basically the first issue that I can see in the agenda is the issue 287, which is related to security responsibilities for Emeritus project. So here the idea was to discuss a little bit. Maybe I didn't express myself very well on the issue description, but it's not like more in regarding on how these projects are related to the CNA, because obviously they are under the same umbrella, right? The problem here is more like related on what is the posture of the foundation in terms of what the Emeritus projects will do in terms of they should still releasing, security patches, depend on every project and everybody decide. I don't know. That was more like if we have like a guidelines or a policy or something on what is expected from the security point of view, in this case for Emeritus projects.
Well, the first thing I think that we need to distinguish in this issue is what you mean by emeritus. Because I don't think that word is used with the project stages. I think there is, I'm checking now, archived, and there's kind of two states for a project to be in where they're no longer kind of active. Yeah, complete and archived.
Okay.
So complete means no new feature development, but they are getting vulnerability fixes.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe general bug fixes. Archive means no feature development and no vulnerability fixes at all. So when you're using emeritus, because complete is still expected to get vulnerability and bug fixes, I think when you're saying emeritus, we're talking about the archive projects, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, per like that documentation, they're not getting security fixes, and they don't, whether, so the question becomes, are they expected to continue publishing CVEs for vulnerabilities? Or are we expected to publish CVEs for vulnerabilities? And also, how are those projects ingesting reports of vulnerabilities? Because probably we're not going to be the ones finding those. The one thing I'll note is that we have no obligation to publish CVEs. We technically have no obligation to publish CVEs for any, even active projects, right? It's just something that's optional, and if we refuse to do it, somebody else can do it. So when I think of this problem, the first thing I think of is, well, how are we even going to know about it? And if the project is archived, that likely means that their security reporting apparatus is probably not operational anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the challenges, right? Because in many of these projects, because the nature of this project actually, because they're very legacy, they probably were, I mean, the policies were much before than the security tab in GitHub. So basically most of those, if I remember well, are like, just send an email to this address, right? Kind of thing, or stuff like that. So we don't know what's going to happen there in terms of if anyone is tracking or not. But yeah, I don't think it's expected from a project that actually the code is freeze, and like actually you cannot make issues and stuff, that to have any option to do the patches, but at least to, track the CVEs, or just delegate that on the foundation, or just use the escalation email that we have for the CNA, so the people can just send these kind of alerts to us. And that way we can handle those reports. But yeah, I don't think also there's going to be like a lot of activity on these projects anyway. So I don't know, but maybe for future projects that go to this status might be more relevant. So I think what we should do, like in terms of next action, should we like bring these two discussions on the CNA team scope?
I mean, it's technically already within the scope, right?
Yeah, we are the escalation path for sure.
So I think the question is, how are we expecting to get, given that the original security reporting mechanism is probably down, how are we expecting to receive these reports? Are we expecting to receive them to the security mailing, the OpenJS security mailing list? And if so, then that's the CNA, right? And
yeah,
we can decide whether to investigate. Well, basically, we'll have two choices. We can either say we don't care and do what you want, or we have to investigate, see if we can reproduce, et cetera, and then because we have the right of first refusal to publish the CVE. I think that probably makes sense to do that on a case-by-case basis. I think that signing us up to say we will absolutely investigate and try and repro and all this stuff for anything that we might receive might be more than we would want to commit to necessarily.
Yeah.
I think depending on what comes in, the project that it is, the severity of
Yeah.
it, you know, we can determine that and respond to the reporter and kind of just play it by ear. I don't expect we're going to get a lot of these types of things anyway.
Yeah, I don't expect a lot either. Yeah, I think it makes sense to go case by case and, you know, focus on the very high level ones in terms of criticality, you know, something like that. But yeah. Yeah, also, I think in some of these cases also will be super hard to do the POC and validation and stuff because maybe super legacy software, even to run in modern stack. So yeah, that's going to be a tricky one. Okay. Yeah, I think it's good. Should we remove the security agenda from this topic? Do we want to revisit this again, like in following weeks?
I'm neutral on whether to leave the label or not. I'm typing up kind of what we just talked about in support,
Fantastic.
and I'll paste this in the issue there, and we can just continue responding to that, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's good to remove it from the agenda and see if we need it back in the future when we have more traction. Okay, that was a good one. Okay, next one I see on the issue tracker is the 286, which is related to the idea of exploring the delegation of security reporting. This came up with recently. I was thinking like now we offer the option, for example, for the projects to delegate the moderation activities, like in terms of the COC reporting and stuff like that, to the foundation. So you basically, if you don't want to handle this, you can just let this done by the COC team on the moderation team on the foundation. And I was thinking that maybe projects that don't have a lot of resources, don't want to, you know, handle all the security reporting for them, we might be able to offer this option to them. So we basically has like a already established workflow where the people can report, and we, I don't know who, me, might be this we, can review this and, you know, try to help them triage and stuff like that. It's kind of aligned with this idea of the help channel that we established, but with a different perspective, like more in a way that you can just delegate the reporting. But yeah, obviously, delegation of the reporting doesn't mean that you won't get involved, you know, if this new team or whatever has questions or requires validation and stuff, right? But you can delegate part of the triage, if that makes sense.
Delegate to whom?
Yeah, that's an open question as well. I was saying like a we in like a very open, yeah, persona, not really a team or someone refined. Just having this mechanism and see who is the we in charge of this.
I mean, we did come up with a long time ago, it feels like like a very minimal security policy model project. Trying to see what that was now.
I think I might have the link. Let me see. It might be this one from the chat.
Template recommended VDP policy, I think. Yeah, I think it's, oh. This is older. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, this is a different, okay. This isn't the template for what projects can use. It's what you pasted is the thing saying this is what is required, but doesn't provide an example of like what that would look like.
Oh, okay.
I just pasted the link with the thing that was developed some time ago, which is like a template for projects to use. I think that it's good. We did work on this and iterate on it, and I think that the content of it is good. But I also think it's a little bit much. And this is kind of my feedback when we were working on it. Initially, there was I'm sorry. No, here it is. Well, which one did I post? Recommended. Okay, here's the link to the minimal. But I feel like even the minimal is quite long. I would be happy to see something even more straightforward that if we call it like a bare bones or something that because I want to give something to project maintainers that's really simple and that they can really easily get on board with and don't have to review a bunch of text and customize a bunch of things and make sure that they're comfortable with what's going up there. We spent a lot of time talking about the safe harbor clause and how that is problematic, and that's why the OpenSSF doesn't have that. Yeah, because even the minimal thing talks about a process that project maintainers might not actually be following or want to follow. So I think we might need to square that circle.
Yeah, this might be a good candidate for the working session to, try to go to the minimum of this.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and there we can explore if actually we have mechanisms offering the option for the people to delegate the reporting to us with 100 quotes, because no idea who is going to be the us yet, but that might be an option or not at all. Also, I'm not sure if other projects are interested in doing this delegation at all. So yeah, probably impact projects no, but maybe some project at large might be interesting, or maybe incubating project that all of this is new to them. Like probably that's
it would probably be helpful to ask like the smaller projects, like, do you want help with this, with assessing security issues that are reported to your project? Because
and
if nobody says yes, then you don't need to figure the rest out.
Yeah, we can probably, if this sounds good, maybe we can use this security help channel to ask the project if they are interested in exploring this idea. And if they came up with some kind of yes, then maybe we can also invite them to the working session and see how this might look like for them and see if this add value. So that might be a good option if Rafa is okay with this idea.
Yeah, looks good to me.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, that might be the evolution for this. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Let's see. Next topic that we have. Oh, this is an interesting one. Next issue is 285, which basically stands for aligning project with minimal security reporting guidelines. And basically the idea, and also I can introduce you a small tool that we have been working on, Raf and myself and Ben a little bit. Let me set the screen. We have been researching a little bit on how we can help the other projects as part of the Alpha Omega initiative. Let me see. You can see my screen?
Yes.
So it'll be like a private project. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, basically, we started to do a small research on if the project has like security MD in place, or at least easy to file. easy to find because in some cases you might have the security MD within your project, or you might have it like as a project, I mean the .github repository or whatever, and this applies to all of your repositories, whatever, right? So there are some projects that we were not able to find this. That was a tricky also thing. So I was thinking that expecting to all of the project to have this file already included. I was not even just checking like the minimal, but most of them have like a way to reporting properly. Like if it's not an email address, is the option to just use the GitHub reporting security thing, or both things, right? Or one or the two options. Also, something that we have been working on here is to create a small GitHub action that actually has the content of this security MD file. So in case that this file changes in the future, we might get an alert as well, just in case we want to have a proactive review on this. And one of the questions that I have with this security MD is like some project has like a lot of details on them, like including threat models and stuff. Another project just basically has like an email, like report us. I don't know. I don't remember one by heart, but let's say, for example, Webpack probably. Yeah, this is pretty much very typical, right? Like just send us an email to here, and that's it, right? So we basically are hashing this content in case that they make any change in the future, so we can have a human validation or just be aware of something that has changed here. So also we wanted to introduce you this small utility that we plan to move to the foundation. It started as a security, I mean, I started as a private repository for myself. And for Rafa and for Alpha Omega, a little bit to coordinate, probably makes sense to move it to the foundation soon. We keep it private because also we are keeping, like, for example, the contact information for most of the maintainers and stuff, so we can send them emails and things like that regarding security. So that's why it's not yet public, but all the information that we are using here is mostly public, right? So the idea maybe is to move this repository to the foundation scope and to give access to anyone who is a member of this Collab space, and obviously to the CPC and you know the typical member of the foundation. So everybody within the foundation can have access to this because there is nothing sensitive aside of the contact information, right? So yeah, that's pretty much how we are starting here. Also, we started to work a little bit on, you know, trying to run the scorecard for all the projects that we have. The thing with the scorecard is if you are not engaging actively, like proactively reporting, you don't get like the full scoring. You just get part of the scoring and stuff like that. But anyway, we are querying the scorecard official API, and we build some dashboard project by project, so you can see, I don't know, Interledger, for example, and you can see what's going on Interledger and the repositories that are indexed and the level that they have and the reporting and so on. The same as we do other project does. For example, Express has their own external internal one, but also we are tracking. You have the option to customize the scope and stuff like that. We are using this scorecard monitoring pipeline that we built already for Node.js and for Express, and you can just, you know, include and exclude projects, repositories, and stuff. So you can just basically have an overview on what's going on in terms of the scorecard. Which might be interesting in certain cases, but most of these scorecards are not generating within the project. They are run just using the cron job that they are using from the OSSF. So you are not including, for example, some information about certain vulnerabilities and certain usage and commit scanning and stuff like that, right? But yeah. Aside of that, we just started to work on this tool. So my two questions for you here are like, what do we think about the project that they don't have like the security MD in place? I think that's something that the projects will have. So we might need to contact them and, you know, or do PRs and ask them to include them. And also the second thing is we are happy if we transfer this repository to the OpenJS Foundation. You might be able to find it useful. That's all my two big questions for this super big introduction.
So I think there's no objections. So I believe that the idea we moved this repository to the OpenJS Foundation, and then we also invite everyone that is in the security help channel to to have access to that repository, because I don't know if we want to make that public, but we want to make that information public for the ones that join the channel, mostly OpenJS maintainers, and then I think it would be easy to coordinate then.
Oh, sorry, but what's intended for that repository?
It's basically just a command center for the OpenJS projects, just to monitor like simple or well-established patterns like the one that Ulysses just shared. Okay, these are the list of OpenJS public or OpenJS projects that we want to enhance the security or help somehow. And this is the list of things that we believe that would be great for them to have. So we have a kind of checklist. Pretty much, I believe that Adam was doing a spreadsheet with OpenJS projects evaluation, and this is a subset of it and moved to a GitHub issue project.
Okay, so this is like stuff you wouldn't want totally public, but also is not, it's not like embargoed information. You're not including like
Yeah, no,
Okay.
actually, yeah, we just don't want it public because we will hold the maintainers email, so I don't think they want it to be public because they might receive a lot of spam in case of
Yeah,
something.
no, it makes sense. Um, Sorry, I think the notes are slightly. There needs to be a different heading for there's 2 bullet points: move repo to OpenJS and place for projects to see security best practices. I think belongs underneath like a new bullet point for whatever this is. Was there an issue about this?
About the command center, you mean, Chris?
Or is this kind of under the 284 blanket? Like,
Yeah, I will say that it's between the 284. But yeah, actually we didn't yet create the ISO. We wanted to do like a small demo to see if it makes sense to all of you, and then just create the ISO and look for the formal approval of the group on the transferring, because yeah, we are not going to showcase a lot on the issue, just maybe some snapshots. But yeah, as you
okay.
don't have yet access to it, it's going to be tricky to validate if you want it or not, right? So that was the idea of doing a small demo.
Okay. Yeah, I think just for the notes needs the note stock here just needs a description of what the repository is.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So we can
Yeah.
include node Unichi and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. And regarding the security MD file, are we on the same page on this? So all the project has at least a minimum security MD, so it's clear where to report security issues, potential security issues.
You're talking about 285 again?
Yeah, I'm back to 285.
Um, yes. Like that's already a requirement. I put in a comment in there in the issue on the stuff that we talked about, and yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Yeah, we can do a bunch of PRs and try to contact them as well and see if we can move ahead with that one. Okay, fantastic. Let's move ahead to the next topic in the agenda. I think the next one that I can see is the 211, which is the issue for the initial draft for the B1 security program standards. Let's have a look on this. Not very sure if there has been news around this in the last time we have discussed about it. Yeah, I think maybe Adam is working on moving this to the Markdown format and then making PRs to the repository, if I'm recalling correctly.
Well, I'm not sure what level of time Rudd has moving forward. I think he's still interested in participating, but likely not to the same extent as when he was, a contractor.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. So yeah, probably we can check with Adam which one of these initiatives he want to still championing. I'm talking about the other three issues that I see, like it's the 150, 107, and 110, and see if he want to champions those initiatives. And in case that no, maybe we can just see who want to take leadership on those ones, and just moving ahead with this, if that sounds like a plan. Yep. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I will contact Adam and see which of these one want to delegate and work on. And yeah, I will do an update on this and remove labels or update it, add comments and so on the issues. So yeah, that's clear from my side. Okay. I think this until now was like the official agenda. Do we want to discuss anything else? Or if you have any other topic that I didn't cover? Because yeah, somehow my query for the issues are not the best in the world. Just let me know. Yeah, if we don't have more topics, then I think we can jump to the private part of the meeting with Chris.
Do you want me to stop the recording?
Yes, please.
Okay.